The way that I answer the question of how we invest in our shared future is different now living in the US to when I was living in the UK. Why?
Harry and Meghan have to go back. It's pretty cruel, Kinsey.
Prince Harry showed up at the Upfront Summit 2025 expecting applause and headlines. What he got was dead silence and a room full of yawns. No Meghan, no buzz, no one cared. From royal rebel to public punchline, this was the moment the world officially stopped pretending he still mattered.
While my charities remain a core part of my life's work, I've also been focusing on upstream solutions and prevention, driven by decisions and investments that address problems before they require fixing.
Let me paint the scene for you. It's the Upfront Summit 2025. Big room, bright lights, every tech titan, VC hotshot, and billionaire startup genius you can imagine. The room is buzzing with excitement until Prince Harry shows up, and then crickets, literal, deafening silence. No claps, no whistles, not even a pity cheer from the back. This wasn't just awkward, it was historically awkward. Like, cancel your Netflix subscription out of secondhand embarrassment, awkward.
From my institutional role traveling the world to my decade of duties in the military, I saw the power of serving others firsthand. My personal experiences overseas taught me that when you put others first,
You'd think a man with royal blood would command the room, right? Wrong. Prince Harry took the stage and managed to turn a packed auditorium into a morgue. Not a single round of applause. Zero. Nada. It was so quiet, you could hear people mentally unsubscribing from Archewell in real time. People looked at each other like, wait, is this real? Is this the Prince Harry? Because let's be honest, what he delivered was less royal insight and more rejected diary entries stapled together and passed off as a speech.
That Netflix could have and probably should have put a disclaimer on the screen to save their own skin, saying,
Even journalists couldn't stay professional. One described the room as frozen, another called it painfully awkward. A tech journalist literally tweeted, "Why is Harry talking about trauma at a VC summit? What's happening?" Great question, my dude, because this is a conference known for billion-dollar ideas, AI revolutions, and disruptive innovation. But instead of hearing the next big tech pitch, the audience got trauma monologue number 347.
The Herbert, formerly known as Harry, as I like to call him. Angela, very good morning to you.
And just when you think it couldn't get more humiliating, get this, he wasn't even a headliner. They didn't roll him out like a main event. Nope, our guy was scheduled after a blockchain ethics panel and before a climate pitch. Translation? He was the human equivalent of a bathroom break. They literally sandwiched him between two snooze-fest filler panels and still managed to make him the least interesting part.
actually, I'm an immigrant here. I'm not going to tell you guys what you can do better. I think, no, look, America is awesome. I think the entrepreneurial spirit here.
And let's talk about the vibe in the room. It was like someone pressed pause on life itself. People were checking their phones, others were yawning wide enough to swallow their lanyards. One guy in the third row was visibly nodding off like a toddler after warm milk. This wasn't just a boring speech. It was a $3,000 nap, folks. Because yes, tickets to this summit cost $3,000. And what did attendees get for their money? A rambling story about how different life is in the US versus the UK. No case studies, no data, no insight, just aimless reflections no one asked for.
And we are, as a family, we're so happy here. The US provides so much opportunity and also a safe space for us, which has been great.
Let's not forget who else was in the lineup. Jessica Alba came through with sharp, clear insight on building purpose-driven brands. Mark Andreessen dropped straight-up fire about the future of generative AI. And Prince Harry? He wandered on stage like a lost substitute teacher who forgot the lesson plan and just started talking about his childhood trauma. Again. One VC said it best. Off the record, of course. It's like inviting a yoga instructor to a rocket launch, which honestly is an insult to yoga instructors, because at least they have some value to add. Harry's presence made zero sense, and to really drive the humiliation home, not even a single person clapped at the end. Not even the fake, polite kind you give when someone clearly tried their best. Not even the awkward coughs you get when people are unsure whether to react. It was just silence. Cold, soul-crushing silence.
To stand up for what you believe in by investing in companies that can truly change the course of history for future generations.
And if you thought that was bad, oh boy, Let's talk about the numbers behind the crash and burn that is the Sussex brand. Back in 2020, Harry and Meghan were riding high. They inked over $100 million in deals with Netflix, Spotify, and Penguin Random House. People thought, okay, maybe they're going to pull this off. Fast forward to 2025, and every one of those deals is either dead or ghosted.
Look, there's no way President Trump would accept that deal. He's called Meghan Markle nasty and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with.
Spotify was the first to run for the hills. In 2023, they straight up terminated their deal and didn't even pretend to be nice about it. Bill Simmons, who helped run the podcast division, called them grifters. Literally, the word was grifters. Said Meghan's podcast was a waste of time and money. And if that's not a professional haymaker, I don't know what is. Then came Netflix. Meghan's animated show Pearl got canned. Internal reports cited limited viewership and lack of narrative direction, which is corporate lingo for no one watched it and we don't even know what the hell it was about. Their other content? Forgettable. A few documentaries, some sob stories, and absolutely nothing worth renewing.
Let's talk about Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry and Meghan have been brutally roasted on Saturday Night Live.
And let's not forget Harry's beloved memoir Spare. Penguin Random House went all in on the first one, but now they're hesitant to fund a sequel. Because guess what? The sales died off the minute the novelty wore off. People bought it for the drama, sure, but no one cared about the deep reflections on royal frostbite or his daily struggles with the media. The pity rein ran out of steam, and now the publishers are pulling the brakes hard.
Prince Harry's friends have lashed out at his disgusting and unforgivable BBC interview amid shock new reporting.
Still not convinced this is a downward spiral? Here's the stat that kills the whole debate. According to a YouGov poll from April 2025, Prince Harry's approval rating in the UK has tanked to a brutal 19%. That's basically politician scandal numbers. And in the US, where his PR team hoped he'd find a new fan base, things aren't much better. Among Americans aged 25 to 44, the exact group most likely to support his mental health crusade, his favorability is a measly 28%. That's not a brand. That's a punchline. So what we're seeing isn't just a man losing relevance. It's a man who refuses to evolve, refuses to adapt, and insists on repeating the same tired script to an audience that's long since tuned out. He's not the outsider shaking up the system anymore. He's the guy trying to crash the party 5 years too late, holding a flash drive full of complaints no one wants to hear again.
What do you miss the most about the UK?
Well, look, living here now for 5 years, it feels like home. Santa Barbara feels like home. Brought up both of our kids in Santa Barbara. I think left the UK when my son Archie was about 6 months old.
And the worst part? He still thinks he's the main event. He walks into rooms expecting applause, expecting reverence, expecting people to care. But here's the truth, Harry. You gave a speech at one of the biggest tech summits in the world, and no one even flinched. No claps, no headlines, no buzz, just silence. And in this game, silence isn't just awkward. It's a career eulogy. Meghan Markle not showing up to the Upfront summit? That wasn't just a no-show. That was a full-blown surrender. No speech, no panel, not even one of her famous accidentally caught by paparazzi shots outside the venue. She ghosted the entire event. And nobody cared. The silence around her absence was so loud it echoed. Not one outlet raised a brow. Not one gossip blog invented a reason. That's when you know it's bad. When even the tabloids, whose full-time job is to speculate, just shrug and move on.
You just wait until Prince William is king. I think he's going to put his handsome foot down and he is going to rock Meghan Markle's world.
This isn't 2020 anymore, where Meghan missing from a royal dinner would launch 42 think pieces and 7 conspiracy threads. No, in 2025, her absence barely qualified as a footnote. You could hear the tumbleweeds rolling across her PR team's group chat. This wasn't strategic. This wasn't coy. This was straight-up irrelevance. People weren't curious. They were relieved. It was like the industry finally realized it's okay to breathe again without a staged Sussex appearance clogging the feed.
What do I miss the most? Being British, maybe I'm not going to say the weather, but I don't know. I think, look, there's lots of little bits and pieces that I miss. I guess the countryside is a big piece to that.
And if there's one headline that sums it all up, it's the one buried in PR Week back in March 2025. Agencies now call the Sussex brand stale and toxic. Not polarizing, not tabloid-friendly, just straight-up toxic. One senior executive from a major firm didn't even sugarcoat it. They said associating with Harry and Meghan doesn't bring reach anymore. It brings backlash. Translation? Booking Harry at your event is like scheduling a power outage on purpose. No one wins. You know what they call the Sussex's Montecito mansion now? The Gilded Bunker. Not power estate, not West Coast royal outpost, just a fancy fallout shelter for two people hiding from the wreckage of their own media circus. That place used to be a launchpad for their so-called impact initiatives. Now it's a $14 million reminder that throwing money at a brand can't buy relevance. It's ironic, really. They wanted to escape the royal cage, and instead, they built a bigger one with Wi-Fi and citrus trees. And where are their celebrity friends now? The same crowd that once posed for glossy cover shoots and hosted baby showers dripping in symbolism? Gone. Silent. Oprah hasn't mentioned them since 2024. Tyler Perry, who literally gave them his house during their escape plan, hasn't posted a selfie or quote card with them in over a year. And the Obamas? Radio silent. No tweets, no likes, no brunches. That's not coincidence. That's PR strategy. These folks didn't just ghost, they curated distance. Harry came for applause and left with echoes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more brutal takedowns and royal reality checks.